John, first of all, I want to thank you for our meeting, for our conversation. It's very valuable for me, and I believe for many people who view this video.
Wow. Well, I have to say, Artem, that I'm very honored, and I really appreciate you getting in a plane, then getting in a car, then driving all the way across the U.S.
Yes.
To come to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
It's first time for us, and to Mexico and United States.
Well, welcome to New Mexico.
Thank you.
And welcome to Santa Fe, and I hope that you enjoy your time here. We're going to I'll make it my business to make sure that we have a good time.
Thank you, John. And first of all, I want to ask you about your visit in Russia, to Russia. What can you say about this country?
The first thing that I can say is trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And one of the most amazing trips I've ever had, and it is all because of my partner in Russia. His name is Timur Yavgorov.
Yeah.
And Timur arranged for me to come, and I had no idea the scope of what it was. The very first night I was there, he took me to see the Russian National Ballet. Amazing.
Yes.
You know, so
in Moscow.
In Moscow. And then the hotel I was staying in, they were having the World Fencing Championship. So all of these brilliant athletes from all over the world in the hotel. Then we did a lecture at the Marx-Lenin University.
Yeah.
In the very same room that Lenin used to lecture. So it was amazing.
Yeah.
And did all of that. We talked with the Young Presidents Organization.
Yeah.
We went to another university, which was the School for Higher Economics. And we had a lecture there with all of the HR people from all over Russia, including Siberia. And then I went to see the Bolshoi Opera.
Yeah.
Amazing, most beautiful thing. So the ballet and the opera, those were two things I've been wanting to see and do all of my life. And then Timur then established a 2-day workshop that we did with the Moscow International Leadership Academy.
Yeah.
And that was at the Russian School for nuclear research. And so, are you kidding? This was one of the most amazing weeks I've ever had in my life, all thanks to Timur and his family.
Yeah. And before this time, have you been in Russia?
Only to land and then go somewhere else.
Okay.
Many years ago, I was in show business.
Yeah.
And I was in a French rock and roll singers act. And we had to go to Tokyo. And so on the way to Tokyo, we flew to Moscow, we landed, we changed planes, and we went, we went again. So that's it on me. I'd never been there before.
Okay, and this time you visit, who you remember as a high tribe leader?
High tribe leader? Well, Timur, for sure. But there are a number of people there. He has a woman that he works with whose name is Ludmila.
Yeah.
Incredible. His wife, amazing. But almost everyone that he introduced me to, he had several people. There's a guy named Oscar, and I don't remember Oscar's last name, but Oscar is the president of the Young Presidents Organization.
Yes.
Phenomenal guy, big businessman. There was also a beautiful dinner that I had, and I sat and I talked to a number of people. There was a guy from Armenia who happened to be there, who was a very big deal in the bank, and now has his own businesses. It seemed like everybody that I met had a tribe of their own.
Yeah.
And that they were working effectively at being useful and a contributing, not only member of the tribe, but leader of the tribe.
Yeah. And about your book, I want to ask a question. The story of your book, Tribal Leadership.
Sure.
Could you describe the book main idea?
Okay, well,
for people who don't read it yet.
Okay, well, the main idea is simple. I was failing.
Yeah.
I was working in companies and I was working in organizations and I was failing. I was a strategist. And when I looked at it after suffering and suffering and suffering, I was almost Russian. I was suffering so much. And after suffering, I had this realization and that Peter Drucker was correct, and that culture eats strategy for breakfast every day. Well, Artem, in that moment, I saw that it was stupid for me to continue doing strategy without a knowledge of culture, and I knew nothing about culture, so I started to study that. And over the period of the next 10 years, I gathered data, not knowing what to ask, and in the course of it, it eventually began to become clear to me that when organizations form, people form tribes.
Yes.
And the reason I picked tribes is because when I was a child, I grew up in American Indian tribes.
Yes.
I grew up in the Hopi tribe and the Navajo tribe. So it seemed to me that it was like tribes. And what I saw was that these tribes formed around two things. One is, how do people talk? They talk in a way that they kind of clump up together. So they talk in what I call stages, and the higher the stage, the better they are. And the stages are life sucks.
Yes.
Okay, that's the lowest.
It's many people think like that.
Not too many. Maybe 3%, 4%, because mostly those are criminals.
Yes.
Okay, and they're willing to be criminals to be right about life sucks. However, on the next level up, a lot of people, maybe 20% of any given organization, and they don't say life sucks, they say my life sucks. They can say, life is working. Artem, your life is beautiful. If I had your youth, your vitality, your
traveling,
your gorgeous life, my life would be wonderful, but it doesn't, and I have no access to that, so therefore my life sucks.
Yes.
And these people are at stage 2, and they're already victims.
Yeah.
And everybody visits that place from time to time. Everybody has an experience that my life sucks from time to time. The difference is most people can pull themselves out of it.
Yeah.
But there are people who just live there, okay? And they're professional victims.
Yes.
And they're professional martyrs. So that's then the next step up, stage 3, people who get things done, people who get rewarded for what they do, people who are good at what they do. They are at a high individual kind of level of development, at a high individual level of productivity, and they are at stage 3. Stage 3 looks around and goes, it's not that my life sucks. In fact, I'm great.
I'm the best.
And you're not. And so they're always looking to dominate. They're very competitive. So most people are either stage 2 or stage 3, and they go back and forth between those. What I saw was that there was a possibility that there was something more. And what is more is we're great, stage 4. A place where we form partnerships, a place where we work together. And I found that in my studying of organizations, about 20% of every organization is people who want to work with other people. They want to cooperate. They want to collaborate. They want to create a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's stage 4, we're great. And what they do is they kind of set up little friendly competitions between their group and some other group over there, so that they can build their group. And what they've done is they've figured out how to get everybody in the group working together. This is where leadership starts. And so what I became interested in was, what is the essence of leadership? And I found out it starts at stage 4. That at stage 4, we have to be in relationship with one another. We have to be in partnership with one another. And that the real power, not to mention the happiness, is between people, not over here and not over there. So that's stage 4. And then what I found out is when you get those people, they put groups together and partnerships. And if we could get a whole bunch of groups together, of a whole bunch of people that talk to each other and we take on a project that can change the world, then we can go to stage 5. So there are 5 stages, and they occur in language, and then they also occur in structure. They occur in the way that we kind of connect to each other. So what I called those connections, I called them tribes.